Okay, so we'll look at the ankle joint now. So whether you've gone and done a sit and reach exercise and you felt a little bit tight the ankle, or whether you want to do a self-assessment, like the ankle wall test, so getting your feet both even. It's a bit hard to see yourself sometimes, so feet both even. Make sure your knee's tracking over your, second toe, or basically just in the middle of your foot. Make sure it's tracking, it's not going lateral or going medial, ducking and diving. So what we're going to do there, hips are straight, feet are even. Just going to push the knees over the feet, and you might need a buddy or someone to assess you to see if you're making compensations, but just trying to see whether one's a little bit further than the other. So say my right was a little bit further than my left feels a little bit tighter, well then we're going to be attacking the left one. But it doesn't really matter if you feel that one's tight during a sit and reach or some other exercise. We'll just look at some stuff you can do for that. So first off, we'll look at some releases. So with the foam roller, jump the foam roller, so I'll say it's the left one. Whoop. So I'm going to start down the base of that calf there. Okay? So we're going to put the other leg across, just add a little bit of weight, and all we're going to do is go left to right, just side to side, going through that tissue, and just try and find any sort of sore spots or any hot spots there. Going through, working your way through the tissue, and I'm like, yeah, I feel something there. So I can apply that trigger point technique, like, yep, it's sore there, I'll keep the pressure on there for 20 to 30 seconds, try to get that to back off, and then I can work my way all the way through, just before the back and then out through the calf. So here's that same thing, working through, something sore there, get the pressure on there, wait for it to go down, 50 to 75%, and then just work your way up through there. So also if you'd like, if you're going to do something that's a little bit more advanced than that, I guess you could say, is a pin and stretch technique. So the same thing, you find that sort of sore hot spot once again, like that hurts, and you're just going to take that ankle through a range of motion as long as it's bearable. So you're just going to find that point and just take that ankle joint through its range and try to pin and stretch on that point. Try and get that sliding action happen with the tissue once again. So for myself, that's nowhere near enough weight, so you can put a sandbag or something over your feet, or get a buddy to actually push down on your shin there to apply more pressure, because it can be a little bit hard to get through there sometimes. Okay, so you can do that to work through that posterior section with the foam roller, and then now we sort of want to hit through that anterior, so through that section, the sort of anterior part of that joint. Sometimes that tissue through there can get all glued and tacked up as well. So you'll soon find out if it's a little bit sore. So we'll do the left one there. So on there, just going to apply pressure on that section there, and we can just rock forward and back through that section, just trying to find any sore spots, and then applying the same pin and stretch technique on that sore spot, pinning it and then just taking it through a range of motion. And just work around and try to just break up any sort of adhesions or anything that you find through there as well. And just try to free up that joint. So for myself, that's not enough, so possibly you could use a ball, or you can use something a little bit harder like a rumble roller, or the good old PVC pipe, but that's not for everyone, it's quite hard. So there's a few different things you can do with that. So it's going to be a little bit brutal, but sometimes you need to be a little bit brutal. So roll through that same thing, create the shear force, and then I can pin and stretch on that spot that you might find. So that's another technique you can do. So just trying to release all around that structure there. So now we want to create some movement. So if you've done something like a sit and reach, created, fire extinguisher. So Yeah, so you create that movement with the ankle joint, mainly in that, plantar dorsiflexion. So, we're basically just doing that up and down action with a lot of movements we do. Now we want to sort of create movement medial and laterally, so inversion and eversion, plus with the plantar and the dorsiflexion, so we'll get that ankle to free up and move around. So, a couple of different ones you can do. So, the first one was going to mimic that same plantar dorsiflexion action. It's just up against the wall if you need support. It's just coming forward and back. So we're just trying to get that ankle joint to free up. So we're getting the action going. From there we can step laterally and then we can step medially while we're bending that knee. So probably better options up against the wall. A bit more support, and you can just touch to the right, coming back and touching to the left. And you can kind of just vary the angle slightly. So just mixing it up. So we'll just go forward, to the right, to the back, and then across to the left. So we're just trying to get that ankle to free up a little bit better. Just to give even more options to do. Another option is to use something like a freeform board, or you can use an ice cream lid. So, foot is placed nice and firm, and you're just going to slide the ice cream lid in those different directions. Just make sure you're bending that knee as you go into those directions. You're not twisting with a locked knee. That's one thing to make sure you don't do. So there are a few different things you use to try and free up and loosen that ankle joint. Once you've done those, if you want to go back to a sit and reach exercise and retest, or go back to testing on the wall, or if you're going to do some other exercise, just see how it feels. Whether you're doing a squat or whatever the movement was that you initially sort of felt like you were restricting that ankle joint, just go back to that and retest and see if it's made a difference. Thanks, guys.